Welcome to the Man Cave Podcast with Dan Casper.
Big game coming up on Sunday. So some keys to victory here when it comes to Packers versus Bears. We know one of the biggest keys in this game is going to be the Packers' run defense going up against Chicago's run offense. We know this. I mean, Chicago is coming off of a fantastic performance where they had two running backs rush for over 100 yards each against the Philadelphia Eagles last Friday. That is going to be number one. To see if this rushing attack from Chicago, an offense from Chicago, when you look at it, is 6th in the league most yards per game. Most yards per game. And they're second best in the league at running the football. 153.8. The only team better than them is the Buffalo Bills. And then on the flip side, you've got Green Bay's defense, top 5 in total yards allowed, top 10 in rushing. They have given up an average of 98.3 yards per game. Now, Green Bay has given up some yards on the ground as of late. I mean, Rico was the big one with the Panthers. But also, they've done a very good job against another division opponent that's got a two-headed running back monster, Montgomery and Gibbs, with the Lions. So could Green Bay use a similar approach in how they slowed those guys down? Perhaps. But it'll be a big test, and it's going to be a big test with no Devontae Wyatt in this lineup for the Packers. Now, I would argue that Colby Wooden is a bigger key to stopping the run from an interior defensive line standpoint than maybe Devontae Wyatt would have been. And I don't want that to sound like I'm diminishing the value that Devontae Wyatt brings to this ball club, because he is a fantastic interior pass rusher, and he has showcased that this year. It is a loss, okay? It is a big loss. And now you're hoping that Carl Brooks can return. He was returned to practice. Hopefully he can be in there. He is he has shown some good sparks, especially this year, at putting pressure on the quarterback from the interior spot. They bring in Jordan Riley to add some depth there. I think Warren Brinson is going to be asked, the rookie from Georgia is going to be asked to play a big-time role in this. And can he take advantage of this? What about Stackhouse? You know, Stackhouse was supposed to be the next TJ Slayton, the undrafted guy from Georgia. He got an early opportunity, but wasn't playing that well. So will they increase that? That is going to be a big key. And this is a very, very good offensive line from the Chicago Bears going up against this front from Green Bay. We say it every week, and it's true again this week. Games are won in the trenches. And a big key to victory for both these ball clubs is going to be this matchup. Packers defensive front, Chicago's offensive line. And, of course, you throw in Micah Parsons and such. And I think you got to say the front seven for Green Bay, because these linebackers, especially if Quay Walker is going to be back, you got Adrian Cooper over there. Isaiah McDuffie has been playing some really good football. It's this front seven going up against the protection from Chicago's offensive line. Now, on the flip side, we're talking about Chicago's running game. I think there is an opportunity for Green Bay to have success running the football. Chicago is 5th worst in run defense in the league this year, giving up 133.8 yards per game on the ground. There is an opportunity there for Josh Jacobs, Emmanuel Wilson, those guys to gain some yards. Is it good? Is that Green Bay defense, is that Green Bay offensive line, which maybe finally kind of settling into their own here after Anthony Belton was moved into the starting lineup at right guard, are they kind of finally starting to settle in? This is an opportunity, I think, to really get that running game going, to establish that running game. And in turn, maybe get the play action going here. Because you look at it, Chicago is about bottom third in terms of passing yards given up to. I mean, you look at it from a yards standpoint. Chicago's defense is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They're sixth worst in terms of yards given up. And then when you look at it from points defensively, they're bottom 10. So there's opportunities, but I think it starts with getting that running game going, establishing it. But then you could get the play action going. If Jaden Reed is back, maybe you could get some of that misdirection going. And just trying to keep this Dennis Allen-led defense from Chicago on its heels, kind of keep them guessing. But I think you could kind of maybe take some of the same stuff that you were doing against Detroit and insert it into this game plan. Slow down the run from Chicago. Stop the run. Caleb Williams, I think you got to put a ton of pressure on him. Micah Parsons, baby. Unleash the beast. Let's get after him. Let's pressure him. Let's make it uncomfortable for him. He's going to be a little bit more of a scrambler than what Jared Goff has been, though. So you do have to be aware of that. And I think from Green Bay's defensive standpoint here is if you can get off the field on third down, you got to get off the field on third down. You cannot keep drives. You cannot let Chicago pick up third downs to extend those drives to keep their offense out there and just kind of wearing down this Packers defense. And if that is the case, let's say there is a drive or a couple drives where Chicago's offense is able to keep that Packers defense out there for an extended period of time. On the flip side of Green Bay's offense, we've seen it too many times this year. You don't need to go 3 and out right away. You don't need to do that. Help out your defense, okay? Go out there. And this is a thing that Green Bay did a really nice job of against Detroit. They jumped out to that early lead, which I think they should do against Chicago here. But then when Detroit started to move the football, started to score some points, Green Bay's offense countered. They countered with that. And that's what they're probably going to have to do again this weekend. Looking at the weather for Sunday right now, I mean, it's going to be cold. You're talking below 20, it looks like, for a high. Is that going to be, I mean, so then during the day it's going to get colder and colder and colder. You're taking running game. And you just want to pound that football up the middle, I would think. And we'll see what the surface is like, too, because Lambeau does get a little slippery this time of year and such. That would be an advantage for Green Bay at that point. But that's kind of how I see some of these key matchups. Players who have got to have a game in this thing. I'm going to go Colby Wooden. You could say the front seven overall. I'm going to go Colby Wooden just to continue to be a presence in the defensive line or stopping the run from a defensive line standpoint. So I'll go Colby Wooden. Although, I mean, again, pick anybody in that front seven. I think you got an argument there. And offensively, I'm going to go Josh Jacobs. So that's how I see it for my players who got to have a game.